girls and boys, and welcome to our lesson. Today, we're going to be looking at different creatures that live under the sea, and we're going to be making them from Play-Doh, or if you've got clay, you could make them from clay. We're going to start off though by watching a short little video, which will give us some information about different creatures that we could be making. So sit tight just for 4 minutes whilst I share my screen, and then we can watch the video together.
Look at the huge ocean. Miles and miles of water. We can't live without water. Nothing can live without water. These animals live in the water. They couldn't survive unless there was a lot of water around them. They have clever ways of moving around and look very graceful. The octopus is an amazing creature. It's got 8 arms called tentacles that sway in the water looking for food. It scoots along the ocean floor, tentacles everywhere, its big round body going first, and its big beady eyes on the lookout for danger. Big, flat fish called rays scoot along the ocean floor as well. The ray looks a bit like an underwater pancake, doesn't it? The ray's fins look like wings too. These are jellyfish. They don't really look like fish, do they? And you couldn't eat them like jelly either. But I suppose you could say they do wobble a bit like jelly. Look at this creature. It's a type of slug that lives in the sea. It's a wonderful colour. It's called a Spanish dancer. The Spanish dancer sways around in the water, a bit like a dancing lady. This big underwater creature has a large flat tail. It's called a sea cow. It lives in the sea and eats sea grass. But it doesn't look much like a cow, does it? Sea cows are great swimmers. And this fish is a fabulous swimmer too. It's able to dart about quickly in the water. It's a blue marlin with a long pointy face, which looks as sharp as a pin. The marlin's shape helps it to swim fast. Look at it go! Whatever the shape the animals are, big or small, round or flat, fins or flippers, they're all at home underwater.
Okay, well done girls and boys. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so you come back to me. Wasn't that an amazing video? I love the Spanish dancer. I've never seen that before. I really enjoyed watching it and I hope you did too. And it helped me think about the shapes of some of these sea creatures that we would find under the water. So now's the job to find some Play-Doh. Now, If your home is a bit like mine, the Play-Doh comes in quite bright colours, and we haven't necessarily got exactly the right colours for each of those creatures. That's not a problem. It's just fun creating them. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to make one of the rays. So I've got my orange Play-Doh, so I'm going to get my Play-Doh out of its pot. Give it a good squidge. Now you can make these as 2D flat shapes, or you could make them as 3D, remember 3 dimensions. So you could make them as 3D shapes, so they would be solid shapes. So have a little think about how you might like to make yours. Now I know that the ray is quite flat, so I'm going to make this as more of a flat shape. Now, try and have a think about how this fish looked on the screen. That's what I'm going to do first of all. So I'm going to try and manipulate my Play-Doh into the outline of that shape. Now, did you notice how long its tail was? It was really, really long and very skinny. So I'm going to roll this, oh, it looks like a carrot, into a very thin tail for my ray. I think this might be a bit big, so I'm just going to half it and roll it like a sausage to make it ever so thin. And then I'll be able to stick that on the end. Let's have a little look. Now, I'm sure in real life, their tail would be a little bit thinner than this, but you get the idea of the fish that I'm trying to create. Okay, you might need to stick down that tail really nice and firmly. Now I'm going to make an eye. So I'm actually going to make a sphere. I'm going to get a little bit of Play-Doh and roll that into an eye. And I'm going to pop that onto my fish. And I will have created my first creature under the sea. Oh, let's pop its tail up. Now, what else could I make? I might make a turtle. I love those turtles. Now, in our Play-Doh set, we have got a little shape up here. It looks a little bit like an igloo, but I'm going to use that as a basis. I'm going to turn it into a turtle. Let's choose another colour. Let's go for a green turtle. I love all the pattern the turtles have on their back too. So I'm going to get some of my green. Oh, it's green sparkle. It's going to be a green sparkle turtle, of course. Who wouldn't want a green sparkle turtle? So for this one, I'm going to use this basis of the shape that's in here. Let's have a little look. So I'm going to peel off some of the extra around the outside and push my turtle in. It's always a challenge, isn't it, when you use these kind of molds to get your creature out. So let's try and get it. I've got to give it a good push in so it gets its shape, and then I've got to try and get it out. So wish me luck as I take out my turtle. Oh, it's coming slowly, slowly. Amazing. Now remember, I'm going to turn it from looking like an igloo into a turtle. So I think I'd better put some of the lovely fins on, which look like their legs and arms, don't they? Now this is going to look more like a 2D one, so I'm only going to put 2 on. Let's have a little look. What do you think? Just a tiny little one. Very good. Now we saw them swimming along, didn't we? But this is, imagine this one's come up onto the land and it's moving along. There we go. Now, what else could we make? Should we make an octopus? Okay, so I think for an octopus, I'm going to roll my Play-Doh into a sphere again, a bit like a ball shape. That's going to be my starting point. Now, can you remember how many of those lovely long arms it has? Remember the big grown-up word, tentacles. How many of those does it have? 8. So I'll start with this, and then I'm going to get some more orange, and I'm going to pull 8 bits off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits. And what I'm going to do with each of these bits of Play-Doh is I'm going to roll those into sausages as well. Okay, and these can make the tentacles for my octopus. I think that will look quite cool. So I'll roll them all up. So I'm just using the table to give them a little roll. Otherwise, it's a bit tricky just rolling in my hands. I'm going to flatten my octopus just a little bit because I think it might be easier to attach all the tentacles on. And then I'm going to start attaching my tentacles. Now remember, when we saw on the video, they weren't just sticking out straight. Some of them were a little bit curled. So you could curl your tentacles, couldn't you? So that's 2 of them on. I think I'll stick them all on first and I'll do the curling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the very last one, 8. So once you've stuck on the tentacles, you can have a little go at shaping them and make sure they're not all straight. Some can be curved in one direction. That's it. Make them look all really interesting. Lovely. How's it looking? It looks like a bit like a crab, doesn't it? Now let's put those beady eyes on, those eyes that are searching around, looking for danger. That's the thing, you've always got to be looking for food, but equally, you've always got to be looking for danger around you when you're under the sea. There'll always be a predator after you. Oh, I've got one eye bigger than the other here. So I'm going to make 2 more little spheres and they can stick on here for the eyes. Here we go. Here's my octopus. Maybe its tentacles could have been a bit longer, but not a bad first attempt. Let's try and make one more. I've got a whale. I've got a whale template all up here. So let's have a go at our whale. I've got to have a blue whale, haven't I? As I said, don't worry if the colours aren't quite right. It doesn't matter at all. It's just about having fun, being creative, and learning a little bit about the creatures under the sea. I wonder if any of your mummies or daddies have ever been diving or snorkeling and seen any of the creatures under the sea. You could ask them that. Right, I just need a little bit more Play-Doh, I think. I don't think I would fill the mould. So once you've got your Play-Doh, push it into your mould. Now remember I said you have to take the extra off that goes over the side of the mould. So let's pull this out and see how we're looking for this whale. Okay, now I'm just getting rid of the extra around the outside. It looks pretty cool. Sorry, I'm not showing you this bit. It was a bit tricky to show it to the camera whilst trying to do all the shaping as well. How's it looking? Oh, it looks pretty cute. I definitely think the sparkles look amazing too. So now we've got our whale. So girls and boys, I want you to have fun. Hopefully you've got some Play-Doh at home that you can use. You can make as many creatures as you want. You don't just have to make the ones that you saw in the video, but hopefully that will have given you a little bit of inspiration about what some of their shapes look like. Okay, so have fun being creative. Don't forget to take a quick photograph of everything that you've made, all those lovely creatures from under the sea, and pop it onto Teams, and then we can all comment on it and say well done for your amazing work. So thank you for joining me. Have fun being creative. Bye-bye.